Hey tribe, welcome back. In this video, we're going to go over one of my favorite chapters in The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. Now, this hands down, just for me, this chapter speaks loud to me. This is a chapter, honestly, that I can read every single day, like twice a day. I mean, it's that powerful. And this is probably not the only chapter, but one of the only chapters that Neville Goddard really stays on task. I mean, it's short, to the point. He doesn't kind of go off on la la land. He doesn't get crazy spiritual with you, where you kind of lose the concept, like what is he talking about? But other than that, my hair might look crazy. I'm not too sure. But let's dive into chapter 14 on the effortless way. The principle of least action governs everything in physics, from the path of the planet to the path of the pulse of light. Now, let me get the highlighter going on here. Now, this chapter 14, it's called the effortless way. It's really the path of least action. And this is why it speaks so loud to me, because I think especially as an entrepreneur, and when you do a lot of personal development, in business, and even if you have mentors and coaches you pay for to help mentor and coach you, even if you jump on social media and you listen to them online, I mean, we're always kind of, it's always kind of like either told to us or indirectly told to us, like action, action, action. You have to force things to happen. If what you want in your life, you got to force it to happen. You have to work hard to get it to come into your life. And this chapter right here by Neville Goddard will kind of diffuse all of this. So I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent of what I believe, not believe, and what you believe, what you not believe. But I want you to listen to this chapter very, very closely, because it's so flippin' powerful. Let me start again. The principle of least action governs everything in physics, from the path of a planet to the path of the pulse of light. Least action is the minimum of energy multiplied by the minimum of time. Okay, so if you take the path of least action, you're going straight there. You're pretty much, when you talk about law of assumption, what you desire, you want the path of least action because it takes you straight there. It takes you straight to what you want. You're not going down the curvy roads and veering off and doing a car crash, because that's where your thoughts take you. Then you kind of come back. You want the path of least action and the least time. Okay, that's what Neville Goddard is saying. Listen, therefore, in the moving from your present state to the state desired, you must use the minimum of energy and take the shortest possible time. Your journey from one state of consciousness to another is a psychological one. So, to make your journey, you must employ the psychological equivalent of least action, and the psychological equivalent is mere assumption. So this is what he's saying. Okay, your journey from one state of consciousness to another is a psychological one. So what he means is, you don't have to go outside of yourself to figure out how to get what you want. Okay, now we're all here because we're all trying to learn about manifesting, or we're trying to speed up the results. We don't know why it's not working for us. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes we can manifest, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can manifest a cup of coffee super easy, but when it comes to big things you really want, that's where kind of difficulty sets in. And what Neville Goddard says is, even if you listen to this real quick, and I don't know if I'm kind of getting too much off on a tangent too soon in this video, but listen. We've all heard in manifesting, law of attraction, law of assumption. Okay, you go straight to the end and you be who you want to be. Okay, if you want your dream house, you already have your dream house. Okay, let the dead bury the dead. Let it go. Stop controlling the how. Listen to this. When you start controlling the how, listen to what you're doing. You're going outside of yourself. You're not going within. You're going outside of yourself to try to force it to happen. You're looking for the how. Okay, what are you doing when you're trying to force something to happen, trying to make something happen? You're trying to control the how. What happens when you're looking? What happens when you get up in the morning and you look out your window and you're like, oh, I don't see my Porsche sitting out in my garage today. I guess it didn't work. What are you doing? You're looking for the how, meaning you're going outside of yourself to try to get what you want. But Neville Goddard is saying everything is within you, source is within you, is within you. Then he's saying in here, when we talk about least action, the effortless way, is he's saying it's a psychological one, and the psychological one is your assumptions. Now, what is an assumption? What is the law of assumption? It's what you assume to be true for you has to come into your reality. So what he's saying is, if you don't like what's going on, you change your assumptions about you or about what's going on. And once you change your assumptions, it has to take root. That's what Neville Goddard is saying. Now listen, the day you fully realize the power of assumption, you discover that it works in complete conformity with this principle. It works by means of attention minus effort. Okay, what does this mean? Attention minus effort. Okay, let me explain this kind of as simply as I can. So my mind's actually working right now. I'm not having brain farts. I'm like, yes, Chad, yes. But what does he mean? Listen to this. If I'm gonna talk about me here for a second. I'll make some stuff up. Let's say I want to be wealthy. I want to be rich. I'm the $15 million man. The $15 million man means I'm a multi-millionaire. I make $15 million a year. I got $15 million in assets, liquid assets I can get to fairly quickly. Okay. But what he's saying is, if that's my assumption, I go, that's my desire and assumption. I go in my imagination. I create this imaginal scene of me being the $15 million man. And I act like it right now today. I live in the end. What's living in the end? Let's be simple here. Is you are who you want to be right now. You start acting like it right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. You don't wait for it to show up. The secret is, if you want to be wealthy and rich, you are wealthy and rich right now. So the law of assumption is I assume that I'm the $15 million man, because what I assume to be true for me has to happen in my reality. Now, Neville Goddard puts in a couple of equations here. He says it works by means of attention minus effort. Okay, what does that mean? It works by means of attention. All attention is how long can I act like and behave like the $15 million man? Okay, that's my attention. How long can I stay in that state? Okay, in my 3D world, how long can I act as if? Okay, until my mind kind of wanders, or I'm human, like everybody's human. When my mind starts to think scarcity, when I start kind of to get worried out and fear creeps in once in a while, or I feel like I'm gonna have an argument, or I'm gonna explode over somebody. Okay, but once that happens, and it's going to happen, what you do is revise your day. You revise that scene. You have an awareness, you see what you're doing, and you bring your attention back to your original assumption, which is I'm the $15 million man. Now let's bring in when he says minus effort. He basically says, listen, the day you fully realize the power of assumption, you discover that it works in complete conformity with this principle. It works by the means of attention, which we just described, and minus effort. What does minus effort mean? It means I'm not trying to figure it out. It means I'm not looking for the how. It means that what I say I am, I already am, baby. If I say I'm rich, because rich is within my consciousness. That's why he said it's a psychological one. It's all within you. Nothing is on the outside of you. It's all within you. Okay? So anytime I try to figure it out, I'm going outside of myself. Does that make sense? Anytime you look for the how, anytime you say, oh, it's not working today, you're looking outside of yourself, because what's within you, you already have what you want. Does that make sense a little bit? That's why he says minus the effort. Okay, if you already are what you say you want to be, then be that person right now today. That's the least effort. You already have what you want. You're not trying to figure it out. You're not trying to control the how. Okay, if you bought your dream house, you already have your dream house. You're not trying to figure out how you bought your dream house. You're not trying to figure out how in the world did I come up with a down payment. Okay, who was my real estate person? Okay, who did I call? Okay, how did I figure this? I mean, this is a trap we go down. but remember, it's outside of you. Okay. So I think I explained that pretty rather good. I'm really in a mood to discuss this chapter. Okay. This is my favorite chapter, baby. Okay. Now, so let's move on. Hey friends, just a quick little intermission here. We'll jump right back to the video. But if you're really trying to figure this stuff out, if you're really trying to live life on your terms, you really need to check out the description, because in the description is where I keep all the nuggets and all the resources. If you're new here, start right here. We got stuff like the power drops, which is totally free, by the way. We got the 30-day challenge. And of course, if you want to be part of the tribe, the link is here. And if you want to try to work with me, the link is right here as well. Like I said, my friends, if you really want to try to make this stuff happen, if you really want to live life on your terms, always keep up to date with the description, because that's where all the nuggets are. Other than that, let's get back to the video. Okay, thus, with least action through an assumption, you hurry without haste and you reach your goal without effort. This is what I just explained. Let me change the color here because I got too many colors going on. Because creation is finished. What you desire already exists, which I already explained. Creation is finished. What you want, once you say, this is what I want, it's already finished. Creation is finished. Okay. So that's what Neville Goddard means. What you desire already exists. It already exists within your consciousness. Okay. Listen, it is excluded from view because you can only see the contents of your own consciousness. Neville's talking now this is kind of tricky. It's not too tricky with some of Neville Goddard, some of the things we read and we go through. But let me read this paragraph one more time and I'll explain to you what he means. Because creation is finished, what you desire already exists. Once you say it, once you want to be it, boom, the creation is finished. It's within inside your consciousness. Okay. That's why the next step is, if you want to be rich, boom, you're rich right now. Act rich then. You act and you carry yourself, make decisions like you're rich. You follow your intuition and gut feelings, and you listen to your intuition and you follow your gut feelings, because that will take you closer to the most successful version of you. Now listen, the next step is, listen what Neville Goddard says. It is excluded from view because you can only see the contents of your own consciousness. What Neville is saying, this answers the question of, why is it taking so long? It answers the question of, well, Chad, I can understand what you're saying, that creation is finished, it's inside my consciousness. You know, if I say I'm rich, I'm already rich right now, carry myself as rich, but why can't I see the richness in my life? Why can't I see the wealth in my life right now? I mean, what's the incubation period? Why is it taking so long? But what Neville Goddard is, he's answering this question, but he's kind of wording it kind of weird. Okay, he's saying, look, think about it in those terms. Why is it taking so long for me to see it in my visible world? Okay, if you want your dream house, why is it taking so long to get your dream house? Okay. That's the question, okay? But you can put anything you want in here, but listen really quick. Listen, it is excluded from view, from your visible world, okay? It is excluded from you because you can only see the contents of your own consciousness. So what Neville Goddard is saying is that the reason why it's taken so long to come into your visible world, the reason why you don't see it yet is because you're still seeing out of your older identity, out of that current self. Okay, you're not seeing it from that most successful version of you yet. Okay, you haven't stepped into that form yet. Okay, that it's there, it's been created in consciousness, but the reason why you don't see it is because you're still kind of looking in your visible world as the old you. This is what Neville Goddard calls the old man. Now what I do, what I call it is, this is your identity. This is your current identity. What's going on. Okay, what you want to do is change your identity to the most successful version. But even though we're changing your identity to the most successful version, you're still seeing the results from the old you. Does that make sense? And I know you can't answer me, but but anyway, let's move on. It is the function of an assumption to call back an excluded view and restore full vision. It is not the world, but your assumptions that change. I love this. Neville Goddard saying, you're not trying to change the world. But it's your assumptions that change. You're not trying to change your circumstances outside of you. It's your assumptions that change. Okay, now listen to this. Listen, that's why I said nothing. You're not trying to force anything outside of you. You're not trying to. What we end up doing, we're trying to change the outside. We're trying to change all the circumstances around us that we don't like. We're trying to change our 3D world. Okay, we're trying to go outside of ourselves again. But it doesn't work that way. What Neville Goddard means is it is not in the world. You're not trying to change the world. You're not trying to change the world outside of you, but your assumptions change, meaning what's the assumption is. What you believe to be true for you has to happen into your reality. So you're changing your assumptions. You're changing your beliefs around stuff. You're changing what you want, how you want it to be. That's how you change it. If you don't like what's going on, you change it psychological. You change it in your mind. Imagination creates reality. You change it in your imagination. Then once you change it in your imagination, it has to take fruit in your visible world. Okay, but it all starts with your assumptions. That's what Neville Goddard is saying. Listen, an assumption brings the invisible into sight. It is nothing more nor less than seeing with the eye of God. Imagination. Then he goes into this quote, not the quote, this is a Bible verse. Sorry about that. Listen, for the Lord sees not as man sees. For man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. This comes from Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. And let's see what Neville Goddard has to say about this, because Neville Goddard kind of breaks down this verse. And this is more of an esoteric view of the verse, of course. The heart is a primary organ of sense, hence the first cause of experience. When you look on the heart, you are looking at your assumptions. Isn't that kind of amazing? Okay, he's kind of dissecting this verse again. Okay, let me read the verse one more time and I move on fairly quick. For the Lord sees not as man sees. For man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. The heart is a primary organ of sense, hence the first cause of experience. When you look on the heart, you are looking at your assumptions. Assumptions determine your experience. Okay, isn't this true? Assumptions determine what you experience in your visible world. Remember, what you assume to be true for you that's what's going to manifest in your world, good or bad. Not only good, okay, good and bad. Because this is the hard concept for people to get. If things are happening in their 3D world that they don't like, they want to sit there and think that they didn't manifest it. They didn't cause it to happen. But your beliefs caused it to happen. Your assumptions caused it to happen. Because it's what you believe to be true for you what you're going to see in your 3D world. If you murmur and complain all day long, and you have makeup, you go inside your imaginations and you constantly argue with your boss, your imagination. You have imaginary arguments, imaginary fights, imaginary disagreements. Or every time you go to do something, you look negative. You have a negative view on something. And every time you go grocery shopping, there's something negative with it. You go out to eat, you say something sarcastic and smart ass about yourself. Oh, well, hopefully they make the food well today. You know what I mean? Then you wonder why they overcooked your food because you're speaking it into existence. Okay. So you have to understand your assumptions. It's a double-edged sword. Good things are happening, of course, and the bad things. Okay. Positive things are happening, of course, and the negative. Okay. That's universal law. There's always a polar opposite of what's going on. Now let's continue. Listen. Watch your assumption with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Assumptions have the power of objective realization. Every event in the visible world is the result of an assumption or idea in the unseen world. Listen, Neville Goddard is digging deep here. And he's basically saying what I'm saying, but he's just saying it in a different way. Listen to what he said. He said, every event in your visible world, every circumstance, every experience you're experiencing right now, good or bad, what you like, what you enjoy, and what you hate, every experience going on right now in your world and in my world. Listen, It is the result of your assumptions or idea in the unseen world, meaning that you're living within. Okay, what you assume to be true for you is happening to you. That's what he's saying. Listen, the present moment is all important, for it is only in the present moment that our assumptions can be controlled. This is how you control everything. You control everything. You can control your 3D world, what's happening to you, by going inside your imagination, by your assumptions, but in present moment. Listen, the present moment is all important, for it is only in the present moment. That's why present moment is the most powerful. It's not the past, it's not the future, it's all in the present. That our assumptions can be controlled. The future must become the present in your mind if you would wisely operate the law of assumption. Now, this is kind of going pretty deep. Listen to what Neville Goddard said. The future must become the present in your mind if you would wisely operate the law of assumption. What is he saying? This is what he's saying. If you want your dream house, okay, technically right now you don't have your dream house. So your dream house is in the future. But what he's saying for the law of assumption, you assume that you already have your dream house, then you live in the end. What's living in the end? You act as if you already have your dream house. Meaning when you carry yourself, when you get up, you dress like you carry yourself, you go places, you talk as if, you answer questions as if you live in your dream house right now. All your decisions you make is like you already have your dream house. You're not doing anything that contradicts that you don't have your dream house. You have your dream house. Okay? That's how you control the future into the present. Even though it's a future event, but from you acting as if and acting like you already have it in your imagination and in your 3D world, you bring the future to the present. That's what he's talking about. Okay, so I'll reread it one more time, then we'll move on. The future must become the present in your mind if you would wisely operate the law of assumption. The future becomes the present when you imagine that you already are what you want to be when your assumption is fulfilled.
Really quick here, friends. Do you want a challenge that's going to make every dream of yours come true?
You see, my friends, the issue is when you start trying to live life on your terms, you're doing everything right. See, that's the problem. That's how you feel. You're trying your hardest, but nothing is changing. Now, in the challenge, there's no fluff, there's no hype. It's just real transformation delivered daily. We are going to the core. We are going to the root cause why things are not working for you. All you got to do is go to the description, click see more. Everything will pop up and you will see the 30-day breakthrough challenge. Click the link and it'll take you right over to that. Be still, least action. Now he's coming back to least action again and wrapping up this chapter. Be still, least action. It's almost be still. The Bible verse, and I have a video on this I did, and it's a really good esoteric video, is be still and know that I am God. Because this is one of the favorite Bible verses of Neville Goddard. I'll try to remember to kind of pin it down below. If not, you can search it on my channel and you'll find it under be still and know that I am God. But that's kind of what Neville Goddard is saying here. Be still, least action, and know that you are that which you desire to be. Isn't this so great? Listen, because this is going to be the closing of the chapter. Be still and know that you are that which you desire to be. You are the person you wish you are right now. If you want to be rich, you're rich right now. You want to be wealthy, you're wealthy right now. You want to be successful, you're successful right now. You want to be a successful entrepreneur, you're a successful entrepreneur right now. You want your dream house, you have it right now. You want a dream car, you have it right now. You want to help people and give to people, you're doing that right now. Okay, no matter what you want to be, you are that person right now. Okay? Listen, I'll read it one more time because it's that powerful. And I want you to walk away with this. Be still, least action, and know that you are that which you desire to be. The end of the longing should be being. Translate your dream into being. Perpetual construction of future states without the consciousness of already being them. That is picturing your desire without actually assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the fallacy and the mirage of mankind. It is simply futile daydreaming. Now he twists up this chapter. Okay, he kind of spins it in a different direction. And I'll reread it one more time for you. Listen, be still, take least action, and know that you are that which you desire to be. The end of the longing should be being. Translate your dream into being. Perpetual construction of future states. Now this is where, let me highlight this in green for you. This is where he kind of switches it up. He basically states, let me reread it for you, then I'll explain it. Listen, perpetual construction of future states without the consciousness of already being them. Basically, he's saying kind of the struggle of mankind, the struggle of humankind is right now, is because what people are doing is they're living outside of themselves, okay, and without the consciousness of already being who they want to be. They think they got to go search for it. They think they have to work hard for it. Okay. Or a lot of people think, well, some people are lucky and some people aren't. This is the deck of cards that God gave me, so I just have to live my life this way. Makes sense? That's really kind of what Neville Goddard is saying. But he's kind of saying it weird, of course, in Neville Goddard language. So let's continue. Perpetual construction of future states without the consciousness of already being them. That is picturing your desire without actually assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the fallacy. That is, I can't even think of another word. That is the fallacy, and that is the mirage of mankind. And this is, when you go through it like an esoteric view of the Bible, this is how the devil, if you want to believe in the devil, steals your abundance and steals your joy. This is how the devil steals the power that you have. Because it wants to make you think you're powerless, that you're not in control. Okay? So Neville Goddard kind of just spins it the opposite way. And listen, he ends the chapter with this. It is simply fertile daydreaming. Okay, we're not daydreaming here. Daydreaming is more like, I wish this could happen. Oh, this would be nice. Okay, that's daydreaming. The law of assumption is what you assume to be true for you has to happen to you. So you go inside your imagination and you want to be rich, you want to be wealthy, you have millions of dollars. Well, you design that scene in your imagination and you live in your imagination. Then in your 3D world, you act as if you carry yourself that way because you are that way. Okay, it's who you're being right now. You're rich right now. I'm rich right now. Bottom line. I don't have to wait for it. I'm rich right now. But other than that, friends, this is my favorite chapter. This is almost one of the chapters I read almost every single day right now because it has so much in here. But I do like it. Now we got to the middle of this, Neville Goddard kind of, really started talking about the law of assumption. He got a way of, the effortless way. But really what speaks loud to me is the least action. Okay. And how we take the least action is honestly just believing you are the person who you want to be. That's how simple it is. That's consciousness. That's source being inside you. Now, if you're religious, you don't have to be religious, but you can just believe you're a spiritual being. If you're a spiritual being, source lives inside you. Okay, if source lives inside you, you are endowed with source power. You are endowed with abundance. Okay, you are endowed with higher consciousness. So if you believe you're a spiritual being, you got to take it a step further. Meaning that what you assume to be true about you has to come into your reality, and everything is within you. Nothing is outside of you. Meaning that if everything is within me, I'm already the person I want to be. Okay, I'm already a millionaire. I'm already wealthy. I already have my dream house. I already have my dream car. I already have everything I want. And if I want new stuff, I just state it and I become that person right now today. That's the least action. I don't have to go outside of myself and force it to happen. Okay, that's why Neville Goddard said everything's a psychological. Everything's a psychological one. It's not outside of you. It's inside of you. It's inside your imagination. But other than that, tribe, YouTube fam, comment below because I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I know I say this all the time, but I really want to know your thoughts on this. But this kind of brings up a couple different things because especially if you're an entrepreneur, you always hear in the business arena, being an entrepreneur, action, action, action. You got to force things to happen. You got to work hard. You got to work 15 hours a day to make this stuff happen. So, how does this chapter kind of resonate with you? What do you really think about the effortless way? The path to least action. But comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video.